Hearing number 8233. Hearing number 8233 is being conducted pursuant to Section 26.100.030 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis. This hearing resumes from the continuance granted on August 20th, 2019, at which time a hearing was set to determine whether to revoke the conditional use permit transferred to King and Queen's Resale Shop, CO 7 Kevin Payne and Teresa Colton, to occupy 8118 North Broadway as a resale shop with new and used items subject to certain conditions. The conditional use permit is numbered as 126473. The conditions in question from August 20th hearing were as follows. Condition 3. There shall be no display or sale of items on the exterior of the premise at any time. Condition 7. All signs shall require a permit from the City of St. Louis Building Division. The board previously received testimony from the zoning inspector, the permit holder, Mr. Kevin Payne, the permit holder, Ms. Terry Colton, and the property owners, Ms. Dana Stiebel. At that time, the board asked for additional review of the conditional use permit by the City Councilor's office and continued the hearing to this date. The zoning inspector has the burden to prove that the conditional use permit conditions have not been complied with. The board has in its possession the following documents which are being introduced into evidence. Item 1. A certified copy of the zoning code of the City of St. Louis. Item 2. The conditional use permit numbered 126473 issued to King and Queen Resale Shop, CO Kevin Payne and Teresa Colton on March 26, 2019 to occupy 8118 North Broadway as a resale shop with new and used items subject to certain conditions. Item 3. A letter dated May 17, 2017 sent to King and Queen Resale Shop, CO Kevin Payne, warning of the violation of conditions 3 and 7 that were found upon a site inspection and the potential for a revocation hearing should the violations not be corrected within 30 days of the date of the letter. Item 4. A memorandum dated June 26, 2019 from the zoning inspector to the zoning administrator stating that upon that date the zoning inspector found violations of conditions numbered 3 and 7 of the conditional use permit. This memo includes photographs documenting the noted violations. And item 5. Certified letters dated August 27, 2019, sent to Dana Stiebel, Kings and Queens Resale Shop, LLC, 23112 Schumann Road, Chatsworth, California, 91311, and Kevin Payne, Kings and Queens Resale Shop, LLC, 8118 North Broadway, and John Koba, Kings and Queens Resale Shop, LLC, 2112 Schumann Road, Chatsworth, California, 91311. From the board secretary providing notice of this hearing. Your testimony is being recorded. When you come forward, please state your name and address and be sworn in. As you testify, please direct your comments to the board and not to those in the audience. Members of the audience are asked to remain silent and not coach the witnesses. During your testimony, members of this board may have questions for you. Following the hearing, the board will proceed with its regular agenda. Following the conclusion of the regular agenda, the board will deliberate, discuss, and vote on the hearing. The board will notify the conditional use holder of its decision by mail in about 2 weeks. Associate City Councilor Deborah Duster will present an update and information relevant to this matter. The zoning inspector will testify, and the board will ask for additional testimony, if any, in support of the revocation. Then the conditional use holder will be given the opportunity to present evidence. Lastly, the board will hear other testimony in opposition to the revocation, if any. At this time, I would like to ask Associate City Councilor Deborah Duster to please come forward and provide the board with an update and information on this matter.
I do. Deborah Deuster. Mr. President, members of the board, an update on this matter. As you recall, the board, and in particular the Director of Public Safety, did want to see if the matter could be continued for 90 days and to look into further the situation with 8118 North Broadway. In reviewing the file and working with the zoning department, it was reviewed that there was an opportunity to amend the conditional use permit that would allow the sale in the area that would satisfy the objection, which was condition number 3. But that would still leave the property needing to obtain the sign permit. Working with the zoning department, the conditional use permit was rescheduled. The business paid. The application fee for an amendment did return to a conditional use hearing, was able to acquire a amendment to the conditional use to remove condition number 3 that would allow the display on the exterior of the premises. And as I understand it, in speaking with the co-owner of the business, also applied for and received a sign permit that would satisfy the objection, which was the violation of condition number 7. This course of action was pursued in lieu of getting an encroachment permit. Of course, only the Board of Public Service can approve an application for an encroachment permit. If you had an encroachment permit and the amendment to the conditional use, they would overlap and create the issue or condition of confusion of which authorization applied. And that's why the route of just amending the conditional use permit was sought. And we believe that based on the testimony previously and the discussions of the board regarding the services that this particular business provided to its community, that would be the best route. And as I understand it, those are the conditions that were satisfied, that would satisfy the violations that had previously existed.
So in your opinion, the conditional use holder has had a revised conditional use permit, and so therefore an encroachment permit is not necessary?
Yes, in this situation.
Okay. Any questions from the board for our city councilor? Thank you so much. At this time, the board asks representative of the zoning administrator's office please come forward and be sworn in.
I do. My name is Myra Turner. I'm zoning inspector for the city of St. Louis. As of today, all violations have been brought into compliance. You have a copy of the signage permit, and you also have a copy of the new amended conditions.
So it is, reiterating the point here, it's safe to say that the conditional use permit holder is no longer in violation of condition 3 nor 7 from your perspective?
No.
Okay. Questions from the board for our zoning administrator, zoning inspector?
I make a motion that we not revoke based on the testimony.
So we have to wait until we finish testimony, and then we'll do that as part of our agenda.
Thank you. Sorry.
Duly
Didn't know
noted,
who else.
duly noted, Director.
Thank you very much. Sorry to jump ahead.
Not a problem. Okay, thank you very much. At this point, if there's anyone else present who wishes to testify that the noted conditions have not been complied with, please come forward and be sworn in. Seeing none, the board asks the conditional use permit holder to please come forward and be sworn in.
Oh, shoot. Sorry, Rich.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Yes. My name is Teresa Colton, 8118 North Broadway.
Good afternoon. It seems like everything has been rectified. Is there anything you would like to mention to the board, or?
No, we did everything you guys asked of us, and we just thank you for working with us.
And we would like to thank you for being a business holder in the city of St. Louis and for certainly working with us to make sure the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. Are there any questions or comments from the other board members? Seeing none, thank you for your time. If there's anyone present opposing this revocation that wishes to testify, please come forward and be sworn in. Seeing none. Before we close this hearing, I'd like to introduce the zoning inspector's report as Exhibit A into evidence. The matter concerning hearing number 8233 is now closed and submitted. We'll now proceed with our regular agenda. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie is excused. Director Wilson? Here. Director Hayes?
Here.
Director Augustin?
Here.
Director Eccles?
Here.
Director Edwards is excused, and President Bradley.
Here we have a quorum. I'll call this meeting in order.
From the President, two festival zones recommends approval as follows. Amarin Holiday Festival of Lights at Chestnut between 7th and Broadway, Broadway Turning Lane between Chestnut and Market, 7th between Pine and Chestnut Fireworks Zone for November 23, 2019. Music at the intersection at Sam Shepherd between Grand and Josephine Baker, North Teresa between Delmore and Washington, Washington between Grand and Lenore, Josephine Baker between Samuel Shepherd and Washington on September 11 through the 13th, 2020. From the President and Directors of Public Utilities, Streets and Parks, Recreation and Forestry. Joint recommendation that permit for Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District to construct a new storm sewer connection to an existing combined sewer that runs along the south side of Holly Hills Avenue. The project is located on the north side of Carondelet Park between Alaska and Louisiana Avenue. Recommends approval subject to certain conditions. From the President and Director of Streets, joint recommendation that antidote to encroach with handicap entrance ramp at the east side of building at 229 East Marseille be approved subject to certain conditions. From the Director of Public Utilities, recommendation that the board declares as emergency action labor to replace 48-year-old malfunctioning 48-inch discharge ball valve and upgrade miscellaneous small piping for pump number 3 located at the Howard Bend Water Treatment Plant. Recommends approval. From the Director of Public Utilities and Streets, joint recommendation that the following permits for MCI Metro Access be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. Starting at existing handhold near the front of parking lot located at 1001 South 6th Street, bore 720 feet south along the west side of South 6th Street, and place handhold in front of 601 Hickory Street, then bore an additional 20 feet south along the west side of Hickory Street, ending at existing handhold at the side of 601 Hickory. Place new handhold located near pole on side of 2415 South 7th Street, bore 206 feet east, crossing 7th Street. Bore will end with placing new handhold located across street from 2415 South 7th Street. Starting at existing handhold across the street from 1101 Lucas, bore 182 feet south along the east side of North 11th Street to existing manhole 20317, then turn east and bore 332 feet along Washington Avenue, tying into existing manhole at the intersection of Washington and North 10th Street, etc. Joint recommendation that permit for AT&T to place 370 feet of new fiber northwest along Hall Street from an access point near the intersection of Aurora. The new fiber will be bored from an existing location to driveway for 7411 Hall Street, etc. From the Directors of Public Utilities and Public Safety, joint recommendation that the following permits be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. Oliver Properties to subdivide land at 4301 Olive in City Block 4582. Sarah Station to subdivide land at 4100, 4108, 4112, 4120, 4126, 4128, 4130, 4146 Clayton, and 4123 and 4101 Sarpy in City Block 3962. JS Community Builders to subdivide land at 1851, 1853, and 1855 Menard in City Block 396. Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission to consolidate land at 1831, 2000 through 16, 2001 through 29 Chestnut, 2144, 2211 Market, 2300 Clark, 2000 through 12, 2018 through 20, 2024, 2028 through 30, 2000 right rear, 2028 rear, 22,000 through 14 Olive, 2201 through 17 and 2229 Pine in City Blocks 904, 906, 911, 912, 913, 914, 915, 916, 1698, 1699, 17,000, 17,001, 17,009, 1714, 6471, 6472, 6473, and 6474. Mayocan, Ilocan to consolidate land at 3302 through 04 California and 2750 Utah in City Block 1514. Joint recommendation that the following permits be denied by reason of the fact that they are a violation of Board Order Number 720 amended. Gladiator Homes, LLC, to subdivide land at 4329 Connecticut in City Block 5056, and Gladiator Homes, LLC, to subdivide land at 6771 West Park in City Block 5607. From the Director of Streets. Recommendation that permit for St. Cronin Catholic Church to encroach with life-size bronze statue on 1 foot high pedestal at 1201 South Boyle be approved subject to certain conditions. Now we have the conditional uses.
Good afternoon, Mr. President and members of the board. My name is Sandra Long, zoning specialist for the city, and I'll be representing the building commissioner at today's meeting. Per board order number 766, transmitted herewith are recommendations for the following conditional use agenda applications. Approval with conditions is recommended for 7 applications. 4704 Gravois, 4842 Maffett, 2814 to 20 North Kings Highway, 4500 Swan, 5425 Wilson, 2606 North 14th Street, 2257 Thurman. I request that these recommendations be approved as submitted.
Are there any questions from the board on the conditional uses? Seeing none, take a motion, please.
Motion to approve the conditional uses as submitted.
Second.
Moved in second for approval of today's conditional uses. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie is excused. Director Wilson?
Aye.
Director Hayes?
Aye.
Director Augustin?
Aye.
Director Eccles?
Aye.
Director Edwards is excused, and President Bradley.
Aye. Conditional uses are approved. Hearing number 8233, Kings and Queens Resale, 8118 North Broadway. We heard from the City Councilor's office, as well as the conditional use permit holder, as well as our zoning inspector, that all conditions have been satisfied. So therefore, I would like to ask for a motion.
Yes, I'd make a motion that there be no revocation based on all of the violations being rectified today.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion or comments from the board?
I'd like the minutes to reflect Director Hayes was out of order previously when he brought this motion up. Thank you.
Duly noted. Thank you, sir.
I'd
Any
like
further comments?
I would like an opportunity to respond, but I will pass.
Thank you, Director. Seeing none, can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie is excused. Director Wilson?
Aye.
Director Hayes?
Aye.
Director Augustin?
Aye.
Director Eccles?
Aye.
Director Edwards is excused, and President Bradley.
Aye, not revoked. I'd like to turn your attention to our meeting minutes from last Tuesday, November 5th, 2019. Are there any questions or comments on the minutes as presented? Seeing none, I'll take a motion, please.
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Moved and second for approval of last week's minutes. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie is excused. Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Abstain.
Director Eccles.
Abstain.
Director Edwards is excused, and President Bradley.
Aye, the minutes are approved. Today's agenda, questions or comments on the agenda?
I have a matter that came to my attention late Friday afternoon. Obviously, would not have had time to get on today's agenda. Essentially, it's a request. I need to speak with the gentleman today. We've been playing phone tag, but the crux is Washington University Protective Services Manager is interested in having some emergency medical event this Friday, ideally at 3:30, with a helicopter landing flown by Arch 1 at our archery range just north of Mountain Patrol in Forest Park. And it would be just to do an exercise for an hour with some WashU School of Medicine students. I don't have their information yet, and whether it's Friday the 15th or perhaps the 22nd, but I am requesting that this be conditionally approved based upon and added to the agenda based upon them providing Sharice and myself all the necessary requirements such as insurance, possible FAA, etc.
Okay, questions for Director Hayes? Okay. Seeing none, and are there any other items or comments on today's agenda? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve the revised agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Yeah, moved and seconded for approval of the amended agenda. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie is excused. Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Eccles.
Aye.
Director Edwards is excused, and President Bradley.
Aye, the amended agenda is approved. Motion for adjournment, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.